Hey guys, it's Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch, but you know that you came here. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me. And here we are in the fall. We've made it through hurricane season. We've made it through all the hot summer season and all that kind of stuff. Now we're going into the cold season. A lot of you guys up north are going to be putting your coaches away for the winter. You know, taking and putting coolant in your freshwater system or draining it or however you do and all that kind of stuff, and putting it away for the winter, because who the heck wants to work on this thing when it's super cold, right? Well, we made it through the summer. Did you make it through the summer with your air conditioner, with your dash air conditioner? You could say, well, I'll just turn on the generator and run the roof air. That's true, okay? The problem is that windshield. That windshield amplifies the light sun coming in. And after two, even with the visor, after 2 o'clock, if I'm going into the sun, it's hot up here. You need air, some kind of cold air in the front of the coach. And unfortunately, that means that this dash air is real beneficial. Problem is, dash air conditioners, American dash air conditioners in the 60s and 70s, seems like you had to put a pound of Freon in it every year. They seemed to leak. They were kind of noisy. The A6 compressors, those big old compressors, and if you have one in your coach now, it's on the right-hand side, got that big arm going over the valve cover, praying you never have to tighten the valve cover bolts, right? But that big A6 compressor pulls a lot of power, and there's a lot of friction in that thing. Cool, you know, back in the 60s, you know, you're driving along, you turn the air conditioner on, the car, big old car, starts to slow down a bit. Well, it pulls, 20, 25 horsepower from the motor. Yeah. So the dash air conditioners in American cars was not that good. But here we are, we need it for sure with this big windshield. So what are we going to do? You may have already heard that there were 3 different air conditioner systems used, style 1, 2, and 3. Style 1, 73, 74, you could have penguins inside the box here, but no air coming out because the blower system was not efficient, did not work well. Okay, so the best way to get air, cold air, in a 73, 74, and other ones, inexpensive, is to put an under dash. You know, like your granddad's old pickup truck. You turn that thing on, it gets so cold, start blowing frost at you. Well, an under dash air conditioner has the blower system right behind the vent, so you're going to get a lot of air through it. You can take that system and tee it into the original system if it still works, and it works very, very well. The least expensive way to do it, because it'll use the same condenser, use the same compressor, use the same expansion valve, and you just tee a system in. Right? You probably have, I don't know, $500-600 in hardware and another probably $500 in labor to pay somebody to do it. So you'll have about $1,000 in doing that. Yeah, now that's 73, 74. 75, 76, you have 2 vents that come out underneath the dash. And when you're on air, all the air comes out of those 2 vents. Well, you say, well, I'll get some air out of there. Yeah, but all the other vents are turned off because air is going to go to the path of least resistance. So all those other vents are going to die. And on cold, it's only going to come out the middle. That means that your right arm is going to freeze, your left arm is going to be hot. Okay, 75, 76, you did get air. Okay, and if it does work, if it's still got R12, you're going to have to do something. You got to go to 134, and they don't mix. So if your system is still there, but it needs to be pumped up, you're going to need to draw it down, change the dryer. The dryer is like the trash can of the system. Change the dryer, blow the system out, pressurize it, tee in, and then recharge it with R134. Unfortunately, R12 is not available. And say, oh, I've got some in the back. Okay, Well, you put that in, you better have more in the back when it needs to be done. R12 was more efficient. R134 is about 70% efficient. And the system was made for R12, so it's more efficient. Later models, 80s and 90s, the air conditioners were more designed for R134, okay? Now, any system you put in the future will be 134. If you go to old air products or vintage air or nostalgic air, it's all going to be 134. And right now, that's the standard. And you know, if you go to like your new car, it's not 134. It's some funky bastard gas. I don't know what it is, but they're trying real hard to not lose the ozone and all that kind of stuff, which is a good thing. If you have a 76 and all the vacuum pots are working and you got air out of the middle, you're a lucky kid. You ought to have a big dinner. You could put Freon in it and you could use it. It could work. Okay. Unfortunately, vacuum controls were not made to last that long. I mean, did you ever have vacuum wipers? You know, you step on the gas and the wiper stop. You know, your vacuum is not stable enough to be able to have operation and, you know, at any speed. So and the vacuum system, when it lost vacuum, the whole thing just went to heck. There in the dash in your control panel, there's a little controller, a switcher that it goes bad. All these things go bad. They did not last. Okay, if yours does, you're very lucky. What we did at Co-op, if we could get, if they did not want to go in and do a big dash air, if we could get cold air out of it somewhere when it's hot outside and hot air out of it somewhere where it's cold outside, good enough. You say, wow, that could be all that stuff could be fixed. Yes, but when I'm spending somebody else's money, I need to be more effective. You could piddle with that vacuum system for hours and hours, and the dash pots were actually riveted to the back of the dash before it was put in. So if you have a bad dash pot or something like that, you're hooped. It's not going to work. Okay. So again, if yours works, use it. If it doesn't, then you can put an under dash unit like the earlier guys, or in a minute, I'm going to tell you about another way. If you have 77, 78, what they did with the blower system, they didn't make it stronger. Same blower, same everything. What they did is put more baffles in and force the air to the other vents. Okay. If you have a 77, 78 and your vacuum system works, the air is not too bad. You can make it better, but you know, you got to pick your battles because you've got, you know, how much more have you got to do to this thing? So you need to pick your battles. And if you do have a 77, 78 and it does work and you've good. Recharge it, put a new dryer in it and go with it. But older these coaches get, all the more the parts fall off. And if your dash air conditioner system is just shot, just broke, just nasty, compressors beat up, you know, there's a hole in it, they tried to draw it down and there's a leak. Look, 50 years, you need to reboot. Okay. Now, how do you do that? First thing you need to do is to take the whole dash apart, to open it up. Now, if all you're going to do is a dash air conditioner, that's pulling a lot of stuff out, doing the work in, but putting all that stuff back in. You may want to think about putting in a new dash, rewiring the dash. Mac at custominstrumentpanels.com, custominstrumentpanels.com is still building some dashes. You may want to get with him. There's also companies like Dakota Digital and different companies that make dash clusters. And with understanding of what the wiring is in the dash, you can install one of those. Okay, that makes the work more cost effective. Okay, because what you're going to need to do, that big box that's in here, out, got to come out. There are 4 bolts inside. So to get into the thing, you need to take the top of the dash off. If you've got an early style, pulling out the glove box to get all the vents and stuff, real important to get all up in there. All right. If you're going to do it, all right, let's do it. All right. Get your laptop or whatever and Google oldairproducts.com. Now, This is one of the companies. I'll have this stuff below. This is one of the companies that makes aftermarket air conditioner systems. Uh, Jim put in, God, 15 years ago, a vintage air system in this coach, and it worked well. It worked very well. I found that the old air products, and I'll explain as we go, seems to be more adaptable and real nice, almost plug and play. Nice stuff. So go to old air products. Okay. Now this is for all the years. Does it bolt right in? No. The operative phrase on everything you do on this beast is it almost fits perfect. You're going to have to do some modification of some sort. Just to understand it, because it's old. It didn't make many of them. So there's no money in a manufacturer to make an exact bolt-in piece. They don't make enough income from it. So what you need to do is to find something that will adapt and adapt to it. And that's what we're going to do. Okay? All right. So go to Old Air Products. And as you go to their place, you'll see that they have AC and heater systems. Click on that. And they got different categories. We want hurricane AC and heater systems. The hurricane systems, the reason I like these is that they're adaptable. In other words, this unit has different outlets and vents, like defroster vents, that you can custom fit this unit to the coach. All right, I'm going to tell you how to do it. So when you go to their website and you go to systems, and you pull up the Hurricane 1000 complete kit. Okay, there we go. Top sellers, 1000 Hurricane 1000 1100 series. All right, we're going to put the whole system in here, complete CAP 1100 AC heat and defrost upper fittings, right there, $14.75. Okay. Now you say, well, what does that come with? Well, I'm glad you asked, because when you go to their website, they tell you what you make choices to make sure that it's what you want. And your choices, let's talk about those. First choice is your compressor. Okay. Now this is a Sandin compressor. Just about every air conditioner, auto air conditioner in the 90s and after, all use the Sandin compressor. It's a rotary compressor. The original compressor that we have is a piston compressor, has row of pistons going in and out. A lot of friction, a lot of wear. They go out. A regular piston driven pulls about 25 horsepower. This pulls about 5. Right. So what I would do is, as you're looking at this kit from Old Air, I would get the Sandin compressor. It is the 214510. This will be below. It's basically a Sandin 508. They're $210 if you buy them separately. Okay. Now, the next thing you want to get, of course, because you're changing the compressor, you need to get one of these brackets. Okay, this takes the bracket off of the piston driven, and that arm that goes over the valve cover, rips that out, throws that away, puts this in there, which enables you to bolt in a V-belt pulley Sandin compressor. Now, if you're going to really go all the way and you're going to go to a serpentine belt system, look at CVF, go to cvfracing.com and look at the serpentine belt system. It will come with a Sandin compressor. Okay. But if you're going to stay with a V-belt, and I have no problem with a V-belt, let's get this bracket. Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to need to get is the control panel. So let's the next thing is this piece right here. This is a standard defrost electric 51-1102. This goes on the top of the unit. I said you can set it up for different outlets. This has 4 AC outlets to the dash, and it has 2 defroster outlets to go up that actually work great because you can put some extensions that go right into the original defroster in the coach, right in here. So you don't have to take that out, thank God. But you can feed this directly into it. So you want to get a 1102 thing there. Next thing we want to get is the control panel. Now, if you again, there'll be a real good picture below. You can see it looks really a lot like our control panel, and it fits pretty close. If you have an original, if you do, of course you do, heater control system, this will kind of bolt into place. Not perfect. Again, it almost fits perfect, but it looks good, and the controls are real nice. Next thing we're going to have to deal with are vents. Now this is an under dash vent. If you have a 73, 74, you're going to need to put one of these on the driver's side, far left side. Okay, now they have what I would call a cornucopia of vents. They got round vents you can put in the dash. Mac at Custom Instrument Panels likes to put round vent in the dash so it's come right at your face, which is a good idea. But when you go to their website, they have got miles of different vents. And the kit comes with all of these pieces, you select it, and ducts and things like that. So you're going to have about $1,500 or so in hardware, $1,500 to $2,000 in hardware to do this in-dash job. Right? First thing you're going to do is, if we did a video recently, have your grill outs, because you're going to want to get in here, because changing the air conditioner is more than just the unit in the dash. Okay, you've got this condenser down here that's 50 years old, right? Well, 15 years ago, Jim put a new condenser in here, some brackets, some L brackets, and adapted it in there. So you want to get the biggest condenser they have. The condenser is what the heat goes from the inside to the outside to the condenser, and then the condenser dissipates it. You want to have the biggest condenser you can get. Okay. Next thing you want to have is a dryer right here. Okay. The dryer is the trash can of the system. Okay. So every time you open a system, you should change the dryer. And if you're going to take the original system and you're going to reuse it, go get a dryer. There's a Delco number on that. You can give me a call, or I'll try to put it at the bottom. There's one dryer that was used in our Delco systems. Actually, if you just take it down to Napa, and they'll give you another one. But I'll look at the part numbers. But you want to change the condenser. You want to change the dryer. Now, you got a whole pile of series of hoses that connect all that stuff up. Now, you're going to have look at Old Air Products. They'll sell you the fittings, the hoses, and all the stuff. You get a crimper, and you can crimp it yourself. Or if you've got an AC guy, you get all the hardware, you mount all the hardware, and let him connect it. Because he's going to draw it down anyway. I mean, you're not going to go buy a vacuum pump just to do one system. And you're not going to go get a set of gauges and stuff just for this. So you really can't be an island. You need to find an AC guy near you, put all the hardware in, because that's labor. It's a lot of labor intensive, and that is something you can do. Let him put all the hoses in, right? Because if it leaks, guess what? It's his chicken, right? And they always leak. I don't know. Every year you need to check it. So you're going to take the dash apart, take it all apart. You're going to look around. There are 4 bolts inside. There are a couple of bolts out here. You pull the front piece off to get in there to find all these bolts and things, and just literally take it out. Now, if you look at this one, when Jim made this, yeah, there you go. You can see where he's got vintage air on there. taking that box out gives a lot of room, and I was able to put my my battery switches and everything up in there. I like it up there. Get it separate. Now, uh, your electrical system, again, you're going to be in the electrical system. You're going to be in the dash. So at the same time, I would do a one-wire alternator. I would put in the Simlac ACR 160, do all these things too, because the more things you can do with the labor that you're putting out, the more cost effective it is, and the more reliable the machine is because you know those things need to be done, right? Having a good air conditioner in the front of the coach that's run off of the engine is the conventional way. That's what we're used to. Now, you know, people get outside of the box. I saw a guy down at 5,000 BTU window unit right here. It's up in Alabama, and we're going to try to do something to get rid of that, fly it over or something. But I mean, you want to get outside the box. You want to put a split unit, put the unit up front, run your generator. The thing. The bottom line is, you have an engine, and it's conventional to put a compressor on it and to run it that way. And if you want to, there are companies that make parts to make that happen. Now, if you're going to put a split unit up there, you're going to have to make it look like something because most of it looks like something in a house, not something in a car. Okay, it's just the way it is. Oh, by the way, and if you go into this air conditioner stuff and say, hey, can I get 12 volts in there? No, you can't do that. To run a 12-volt air conditioner, you're going to have a lot of current. Okay, you say, well, what about one of these air conditioners in a Tesla? Yeah, that's electric, right? Let's do that. That's 400 volts, gentlemen. You're going to have to go into all kinds of transformers and things. And again, you're adapting something that wasn't made for that. Yes, it can be done. Everything can be done. It just depends on what's available and what you can put in, right? Because, I mean, there's a lot of smart people out there, and there are a lot of different ways to do things. It just comes down to what really is convenient and works for you, all right? So it's going to get cold now. You don't have to worry about the air conditioner until next summer. And you got all this time to figure out what to do. So, you know, you might want to put it away, put it in mothballs, but maybe get some power to it and get in there and fiddle with this air conditioner thing because it'll take you a little bit of time. Remember, if you've never done this before, it will take you twice as long to do it the first time. Second time, be a lot easier. And if you can find a buddy that has a GMC that's done this, buy him a pizza and have him come over and help you do it because having someone that's done it before there makes all the difference. And that's kind of what Motorhome Rehab Ranch is for because, hey, I've done this stuff before. And I can be in your loop. You can call me. I can help you when you get a problem. We can do this together. That's one of the great things about the internet, about researching to find things. And you found me. All right. So look some more. Get some more ideas. Come back. Buy the parts. Let's do it. All right. Well, look, thanks for spending some time. I hope this has been helpful. At least it gets you on the right track. If you do want to do this, give me a call. Let's get started. It can be done. It's not hard. You don't need special tools. You need a little bit of knowledge. I can help you a little bit with that. All right. Well, look, ranch hands, thank you for your support. If these things are helpful to you, you've been watching it for a while and you really enjoy it and stuff, I invite you to get involved, become a ranch hand. It's $5 a month, and you help me do more of this for all of you. Okay, great. All right. Well, look, happy trails. Stay cool. We'll see you later.